During unfavorable conditions, it is happens. So when sufficient amount of water, temperature, food is not available, at that time, amoeba forms a thick wall around its body. See, it is amoeba. It forms thick wall around its body. So this is called encysted wall. Throughout unfavorable conditions, amoeba exists inside the thick wall. This is called encysted wall. So this is called encysted wall. In the encysted wall, throughout the unfavorable conditions, amoeba exists like this way. When ideal conditions are arised, ideal conditions are arised. When ideal conditions are arised in the environment, that is sufficient amount of food, water and temperature is available, at the time, inside the encysted wall, this amoeba has a nucleus. However, this amoeba contains nucleus. During favorable conditions, this amoeba divides by, amoeba nucleus is divides by multiple fission and produced number of small daughter nuclei. Number of small daughter nuclei. So these are all the daughter nuclei. See, this is the daughter nuclei. All the daughter nuclei obtained cytoplasm. Okay, so single nucleus divides by multiple fission and produces number of nuclei. These are called daughter nuclei. These are also called pseudopodiospores. Number of daughter nuclei also called pseudopodiospores. Number of pseudopodiospores are formed. When n number of pseudopodiospores are formed, so this encysted wall breaks and releases spores. Those are called nuclei, daughter nuclei or pseudopodiospores. So these are all the pseudopodiospores are grown and develops as a new individual organisms, new individual amoeba. That is called multiple fission in amoeba. Okay, so multiple fission commonly occurs in malarial parasites. Yesterday I said that. See, malarial parasites, it is sporozoan. This sporozoan entered into the red blood cells. This sporozoan is entered into the red blood cells. So this sporozoan feeds on the contents of the red blood cells and its size day by day increase. So it reached to certain size and shape. So when it reached to certain size and shape, so this is divides by multiple fission and produces a number of daughter sporozoans. Number of sporozoans. So these are all the sporozoans divides by multiple fission. So one sporozoan converted into number of sporozoans by multiple fission. These are all the sporozoans again attacks another new red blood cell. That is called binary fission. So fission is of two types. Binary fission. This is called multiple fission. Binary fission example, yesterday we have seen. Multiple fission. One example is amoeba and one more example is Plasmodium parasite. That is malarial parasite called Plasmodium vivax. Okay, that's all. So budding. So it is a method in which the parental organism, from the parental organism, new individuals are formed. From the parental organism, new individual. See, budding. So this is parental organism. It contains nucleus. This is called nucleus. It is a method in which the parental organism develops new individual. The parental organism develops a new individual. This is called budding. The bud grows and develops organs like parental organism. After that, detaches itself, cut off, and develops into a new individual. This phenomenon is called budding. See here, it is parental organism or vegetative body. Budding. In this process, the parental organism develops a new individuals. So this new individual receives nucleus from the parental body. See, this is nucleus. This nucleus is divides, and a small fragment is entered into this bud. A small fragment of the nucleus is entered into this bud. When the nucleus is entered into this bud, so this bud is grows. The bud is grows and develops organs like parent, and then detaches itself and grows into a new individual organism. This process is called budding. Budding is very common in some of the organisms, unicellular organisms. Okay, see here, in most of the unicellular organisms, the bud is formed outer part of the parental body, outer surface of the parental body. So here formed, here may be formed, here may be formed, here outer surface of the parent. The bud is formed external surface of the parent. Those buds are called exogenous bud. But in some cases, in some of the organisms, the bud is formed instead of the parental organism. The buds are formed like this way. Buds are formed instead of the parental organisms. These buds are called gemmules. If the bud is formed external surface, those are called exogenous. If the bud is formed inside the parental body, those buds are called gemmules. Gemmules are also called endogenous buds. Here, one thing you have to remember: if the bud is formed outside of the parent body, those called exogenous bud. If the bud is formed inside the parental body, those buds are called endogenous buds. Those are also called gemmules. Budding. Budding is several types in different animals. First of all, budding is very common. Budding is a type of asexual reproduction in yeast. Budding in yeast. In yeast, budding is a common type of asexual reproduction. See here, it is the parental organism. When ideal conditions are arised in the environment, ideal conditions, sufficient amount of water, food, and temperature is available. The parental organism, from the parental organism, a small external growth is expelled out. Like this way. Also a thin layer is bulged out from the parental body. See, like this way. A small external growth is expelled out of the surface of the parental organism. Inside the parental body, nucleus is located. The nucleus is divided into two parts. So, into two parts, a small fragment is reached and entered into the bud. This nucleus is entered into the bud. When the nucleus is entered into the bud, This bud is grows fully, matured. After maturation of this bud, it will be cut off, detach itself, and it would be grown as a new individual organism. Okay, so this is very common in East. In East, budding is a common type of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. This is in budding. This is budding in East. Next, budding exogenous in Hydra. The budding process is exogenous in Hydra. See, in Hydra, see here Hydra diagram I will talk. Like this. See here, this is Hydra. In Hydra, the budding is exogenous, outer surface of the parental body. So conical outgrowth grows on the external surface of the parental body. Conical outgrowth. Conical, this is conical outgrowth. This is called conical outgrowth. Grows externally on the parental body. And in these, the cells are differentiated. This is called budding or bud. Conical outgrowth grows externally on the parental body by multiplication and differentiation of the cells in this bud. Later, in this bud develops organs like mouth and tentacles. Initially, a small bud is formed. Later on, like this way. 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 So when it will grow about a certain length, it will detach. It will detach. It will grow as a new individual. Before detaching, this part, this bud is developed outside the parental body. Therefore, it is called exogenous bud. This bud develops organs like mouth, tentacles. These are called, here mouth is located. Here mouth is located. These are all called tentacles. Like this, even this is before detaching, it develops organs like mouth and tentacles. Thereafter, it is detached. In this one, cavity, the cavity is called cylindron cavity. Hydra belongs to the phylum Coelenterata. That cavity is called cylindron cavity. Differentiate the cells. After differentiation of the cylindron cavity, it will be cut off and develops as a new individual. Like that, here formed, here formed, here formed. Anyway, any part, any external surface of the parent body. That is called budding. In Hydra is exogenous. Conical outgrowth grows on external surface of the parental body by multiplication, like this way, many formed by multiplication and the differentiation of the cylindron cavity. After that, this bud is detaches. Before detaches, this bud develops all organs like mouth, tentacles, etc. Okay, that's all. Next, third one is budding is endogenous. In sponges. Generally, in sponges, the budding is endogenous. Okay, see here. This is sponges. Already we discussed in some of the organisms, the bud are formed inside the parental organism. See, inside the parental organism, like this way, buds are formed. Like this way, buds are formed. These buds are called gemmules. These buds are called gemmules. These buds are called gemmules. Okay, so these are called endogenous. These buds are formed inside the body and is capable of germinating and gives new individuals during favorable conditions. Okay, so when these are called gemmules, which are located inside the parental body. Therefore, these are called endogenous buds. Budding is endogenous in sponges. These endogenous buds are capable of germinating and gives rise to new individuals during favorable conditions. Okay, so it is very common in sponges. So freshwater sponges, like spongilla, and marine water sponges like cycon. In these, the buds are gemmules. That is endogenous buds. Okay, that's all. Sporulation, spore formation. The process of formation of spores in fungi and algae is called sporulation. Okay, generally spores. Spores are small, microscopic, unicellular structures. Unicellular structure. See, it is spores. Small, microscopic, unicellular structures that contains nucleus. This is called nucleus. Spores contains nucleus, which is surrounded by cytoplasm, and it is capable of germinating on favorable conditions. This is spore, when reached to favorable conditions, there they will germinate and give rise to new individuals. Generally, spores are formed in unicellular protists. Unicellular protists like sporozoan. That is, sporozoan means what? Plasmodium vivax. Plasmodium forms spores. And monocystis. It is internal parasites of all the invertebrates. Monocystis also forms spores. Okay, that's etc. Unicellular organisms like protists, sporozoan, monocystis possesses spores in their life cycle. Generally, sporulation is very common in algae and fungi in their life cycle. Generally, the spores are motile. The spores are motile spores. Some spores are motile. Those are called zoospores. Some spores are non-motile. Those are called sporangiospores. Conidia. Conidia. Okay, so spores are motile. They have well-developed flagella. Those are called zoospores. Some spores are non-motile. They don't have flagellated structure. So those are called sporangiospores and conidia. So these two are reached to the favorable conditions by wind and water current. Okay. So first of all, we will see about motile spores, that is called zoospores. Zoospores. Motile spores, that is zoospores. These zoospores have well-developed locomotory organ, that is called flagella. Flagella. Okay, with the help of flagella, they are reached to the favorable conditions, ideal conditions, that is where water, food and temperature is favorable. So with the help of flagella, they will reach to the favorable conditions. Okay, there they will be germinated. Zoospores on favorable conditions germinated and gives rise to new individuals. Generally, zoospores are formed in Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas. See, the asexual reproduction occurs by zoospores in Chlamydomonas. In Chlamydomonas, asexual reproduction occurs by zoospores. The zoospores are formed inside the zoosporangia. See, it is called zoosporangia. Inside the zoosporangia, it is zoosporangia. The center is called zoosporangia. Inside the zoosporangia, there are number of flagellated zoospores are formed. See, these are all called zoospores. These are all called zoospores. There are number of zoospores are formed inside the zoosporangia. When number of zoospores are formed, so the zoosporangia layer is burst and releases zoospores. These zoospores are reached to the favorable conditions. There they will be germinated and produces new individuals. Okay, so the asexual reproduction by zoospores occurs in Chlamydomonas, and Albugo, and also Phytophthora. Okay, the reproduction by zoospores occurs in Chlamydomonas, Albugo, and Phytophthora. Okay, that is called motile zoospores. It is zoospore. It has flagella. With the help of these flagella, they will be moved to one place to another place. Okay, this is called zoospores. Like this way, there are number of zoospores are formed in zoosporangia. This is called zoosporangia. Next, non-motile spores. Those are called sporangiospores. Non-motile spores. Those are called sporangiospores. See, sporangiospores. These are non-motile sporangiospores which are formed inside the sporangia. See here, this is called sporangia. This is called sporangia. These are called filamentous structures. Here these are called mycelium. These are called mycelium. Okay. See here, sporangiospores are non-motile structures which are formed inside the sporangia. See, this is called sporangia. This is called sporangia. The sporangia is a sac-like structure in which there are number of non-motile spores are formed. Those are called sporangiospores. These are all called sporangiospores. These are all called sporangiospores. Sporangiospores. So when these sporangiospores are formed, huge number, then the sporangiospore layer is burst and releases all the sporangiospores are outside. These sporangiospores are reached to favorable conditions by wind and water current. Wind and water current. With the help of water and wind, they will reach to the favorable condition. There they will be germinated and again gives new mycelium, new individual organisms, new fungi. So the reproduction by sporangiospores occurs in fungi like Rhizopus, Mucor, etc. The reproduction, the asexual reproduction by sporangiospores occurs in Rhizopus and Mucor. So in Rhizopus and Mucor, like this way, structures are formed. In the sporangia, sporangiospores are formed. Okay, that's all. So sporangiospores are formed in Rhizopus and Mucor. Okay, so this is non-motile spore, sporangiospores. Another third one is non-motile spore. Another non-motile spore. Another non-motile spore. Another non-motile spore that is called Conidia. Conidia. Non-motile spore, Conidia. See, these are non-motile spores which are formed single or chain-like structures. Conidia are formed single or chain-like structures at the tip of the special hyphal branch called conidiophore. See, the special hyphal branch. This is called special hyphal branch. At the tip of the special hyphal branch, like this way, single or chain-like structures. Single or chain-like structures. That's all I am saying. Conidia are formed like single or chain-like structures at the tip of the special hyphal branch. This special hyphal branch is called conidiophore. So each spore contains nucleus, a haploid nucleus. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 conidia. 6 conidia. Each conidia reaches the favorable condition by wind and water. Then they will be germinated and gives rise to new conidiophore. The asexual reproduction by conidia occurs in fungi like Penicillium. Okay, in Penicillium, Conidia, through conidia, asexual reproduction takes place. The asexual reproduction by conidia occurs in fungi like Penicillium. Okay, that's this is sporulation. Okay, in exams about this objective bits 1 mark definition or 2 mark definition they will ask. Okay, motile spores, non-motile spores, or else write a note on sporulation like that. Next one is fragmentation. We are discussing modes of asexual reproduction. In that mode of asexual reproduction, the first one is fission, second one is budding, third one is fragmentation. Sorry, third one is sporulation, fourth one is fragmentation. This is fourth mode of asexual reproduction. In this method, the parental organism breaks into 2 or many fragments. In this one, the parental organism breaks into 2 or more fragments. Each fragment, see, it is a parental organism. In this method, the parental organism breaks into 1 or many parts, many fragments. Each fragment capable of gives rise to whole parental body. This is called fragmentation. Generally, fragmentation process is seen in Hydra, Planaria, some marine organisms, starfish, etc. In them, the fragmented part capable of gives rise to whole body. The ability of gives rise to the ability of each fragment capable of gives rise to a whole parental body. This process is called fragmentation or regeneration. Regeneration. Okay. So the ability of generating new individual from the fragmented part is called regeneration. This process we will see in Hydra, Planaria, some marine organisms and starfish. This is called fragmentation. Next, fifth one. Vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation, it is a phenomenon which occurs in almost all higher plants. Almost all higher plants. So in higher plants, vegetative propagation takes place. In those plants, in some higher plants, vegetative propagation takes place. In them, flowers, fertilization process and seed production does not take place. Those 3 parts are not involved in vegetative propagation. The parental part such as stem, root and the leaves can give rise to whole plant body. This process is called vegetative propagation. Okay, that's all.